All right, it's 9 o'clock. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Please join me in the pledges. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
Justice for all. I pledge allegiance to the flag, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Mr. Brunjette's going to lead us in a prayer.
Please join me as I pray. Again, Father, we're thankful for the blessings of this new day, for the rain that you've given us, and for the hope of maybe having some more rain. And we have a long agenda this morning, Lord. I'm sure you've seen it. And these commissioners have a lot on their plate, a lot of decisions to be made. And they want to make the correct decision for all the citizens of this county. And the safest way to make any decision is to make it according to your will, your way, and always. And it's always the right decision. So that's my prayer this morning for these commissioners, that they will consider your will always to make decisions to benefit us all. And just as a side note, Lord, we just pray this morning for the sovereign nation of Israel. They are under attack, and we just pray that you protect them with all the power you have to keep them safe. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney,
Here.
Commissioner Castellane.
Here.
Commissioner Russo. Here. Commissioner Dupnick.
Here.
Judge Garza.
Here, we've got a full quorum. Item number 4, section number 4, citizens to be heard. All right, so I got a few here. I'm going to read out your name. You got Misty Kimbrough, Kim Hesley, Deborah Stevens, and is that all? Did anybody turn in a form and I didn't call your name?
Yes. But I'm just in case.
Deidre Cirelli did.
Oh, Deidre Cirelli. And anybody else? Then did you turn in a form?
Yeah.
Okay.
But actually, I left it out there.
Oh. All right, so Ms. Hesley, would you like to speak now or wait till the item? Okay. And then Ms. Kimbrough, would you like to speak now or wait on the
For
item?
the item.
All right. Just remind me.
Okay.
Remind me. And Deidre,
She wants to speak for that agenda item.
okay, and I'll read Deborah Stevens whenever the item comes up. All right. So we'll move on to section number 5, presentations of proclamations, item number 1.
Motion to recognize with proclamation P 13/2023 and recognize October 2023 as Volunteer Fire Department Appreciation Month and make a presentation and hear a presentation by the Rockport Volunteer Fire Department.
I'll second that.
Got a motion, got a second.
Good
Warner.
morning, Judge and Commissioners. This morning, I'm going to be reading proclamation numbered P 2023, recognizing October 2023 as Volunteer Fire Department Appreciation Month. Whereas the Rockport, Fulton, and Lamar Volunteer Fire Departments each serve as an essential role in the protection of life and property in Aransas County. And whereas the men and women of these departments volunteer their time and energy to ensure the safety of life and property in Aransas County every day of the year at all hours of the day and night. And whereas it is common for volunteer firefighters to sacrifice their time with their families and friends and risk their lives in their quest to serve their communities. And whereas Aransas County and the surrounding counties have recently suffered from a severe drought condition and as a result, an increase of risk of wildfires. And whereas our local volunteer and paid departments have diligently responded to the emergency calls when help is needed. And whereas on such an occasion occurred on August 24th, 2023, when all 3 departments serving Aransas County battled a large grass fire called the Bypass Fire, and were joined by 10 additional departments: Aransas Pass, Ingleside, Port Aransas, Gregory, Woodsboro, Bayside, Refugio, Annabelle, Portland, and Nueces County ESD 3. And whereas While the event on August 24th was just one example of the countless times that our local heroes have stepped up and stepped in to protect us, Aransas County wishes to take this opportunity to express their deepest gratitude for firefighters who protect us from harm and keep our community safe every single day. Now, therefore, let it be known on this day, the 9th day of October, 2023, that the Aransas County Commissioners Court duly convened in their acting capacity as the governing body of Aransas County hereby proclaims the month of October 2023 be known as Volunteer Fire Department Appreciation Month in Aransas County. The Commissioners Court urges all residents and visitors to consider the extraordinary bravery, commitment, and courage that all volunteer firefighters exhibit. Thank you. I do know that we have a short 3-minute clip of that particular fire that the fire departments would like you to see.
In front of you? Yeah, hold on. There's a above me. I'm working on it. Stop! Stop! There's a branch above my head. Where you are right now? I'm in the bus trying to get to the head. I don't have nobody behind me. I need somebody to come back me up. Clear. I need you to meet up with Rush 2, northeast flank. Northeast flank. I need y'all to hit the head. Stay down, stay down. Hold on. Go ahead. He's right behind you. He's right behind you. Go. Let's go. All right, let's go.
That's just a small glimpse of what all of these brave men and women did that day.
How many hours were they out there fighting this that day?
It was in
9?
total
9 hours?
3 days. By the time the Forestry Service cleared up with it, it was about 3 days.
Right.
So, any questions?
Terrifying,
job.
but thank you.
Tell you what, I was out there for a while at that fire, and I went down on by Chapman Ranch to see if it'd come over the hill there, a little hill there. It almost did, but y'all caught it. If it'd come over the hill, it'd wipe that ranch out.
Yeah, the tireless hours that my guys in Fulton and Lamar put in there's no words to describe. I'm honored to be able to work beside these people on a daily basis.
And again, they have been heroes for a long time.
And we've come to expect nothing less. But they keep always giving us more, and we really appreciate it. I know Precinct 1 does for sure.
Well, we appreciate that, and we're always going to be here for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I want,
Come up here. Come on, ladies.
photo op.
Thank you.
They push into the front.
I'd like to recognize Proclamation P 16, 2023.
Oh, we need a vote.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
That's
we
right.
need a vote on that last one.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dubnik?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye, passes 5-0. Before we move on, I forgot, I wanted to strike a couple items. I'm going to strike number 4. It's a presentation by the Historic Commission. We'll put that on a later agenda, and I'm going to strike number 18, which is a burn ban. So those two are struck. And then I'm going to allow it this time, but the rules state that if you want to speak in Commissioner's Court, you've got to be here 5 minutes before court starts. So I'm going to allow this, Ms. Rutledge. I'm going to allow this, but we got to get here before, please. Last time. Would you like to speak now, or would you like to speak at the item? Okay, fine. All right, let's move on to item number 2.
All right, I move that we recognize Proclamation P 16, 2023 to recognize National 4-H Week and receive a presentation by the AgriLife Extension Office and the 4-H ambassadors.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second.
All right, Judge Commissioners, this is Proclamation P 16, 2023, the National 4-H Week Proclamation. Whereas Aransas County is proud to honor the Texas 4-H Youth Development Program of the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service for 115 years of providing experience-based education to youth throughout the Lone Star State. And whereas this admirable program, which seeks to provide a learning experience for all youth through their head, heart, hands, and health, helps young Texans to acquire knowledge, develop life skills, and form attitudes to enable them to become self-directed, productive, and contributing members of our society. And whereas the program's more than 550,000 urban, suburban, and rural youth participants, ranging in age from 8 to 18, come from diverse ethnic and socioeconomic backgrounds and truly represent a cross-section of the state. And whereas the program undoubtedly could not have achieved the success that it has today were it not for the service of its more than 30,000 volunteers who have given generously of their time, talents, energies, and resources to the youth of Texas. And whereas throughout its proud history, the 4-H program has developed positive role models for countless Texans through its innovative and inspiring programs and continues to build character and instill the values that have made our state strong. Now therefore be it resolved, Aransas County hereby designates October 1 through 7, 2023 as National 4-H Week in Texas and commend the 4-H Youth Development Program of the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service and the many men and women who have made the program a success.
We just want to come and
Morning.
come and thank you. There's no presentation today. We just want to, come and thank you and recognize y'all as well for the support that you give our program here in Aransas County. Much appreciated.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for all you do.
And then our guys, we want a picture. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want the 4-H ambassadors to introduce themselves, perhaps?
Great. That'd be great.
I'm Elizabeth Yannock. I am a Aransas County ambassador.
I'm Madeline Yannock, and I'm a 4-H ambassador. I'm Faith Patel, and I'm a Aransas County ambassador.
You can move it down.
I'm Landon Robertson. I'm a 4-H ambassador. My name is Sienna Goad, but I am not an ambassador. My name is Logan Robertson. I'm not an ambassador.
My name is Joshua Robertson. I am an ambassador.
Thanks. Y'all want to come up for a picture? I'll stand up here. Hey, how are you? You want to hold that? Picture.
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Number 3.
Move to approve proclamation P 17/2023, recognizing October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month.
Second.
that.
Got a motion, got a second. Good morning.
Okay. Proclamation P 17/2023, recognizing October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month. Whereas October is National Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month, and it is a time for us to come together to reaffirm our commitment to ending domestic violence and to work together to continue to refuse to tolerate abuse, support survivors, and hold perpetrators accountable. And whereas 1/3 of women and 1/4 of men in Texas will experience domestic violence in their lifetime. And whereas approximately half of female victims of homicide in the United States are killed by current or former intimate partners. And whereas domestic violence affects millions of people in the United States, causes significant harm to the physical and mental health of survivors and their families, undermines their economic stability and overall well-being, and is a stain on the conscience of our country. And whereas we all have a civic and moral responsibility as individuals, neighbors, community members, and citizens of Aransas County, Texas, to work together to prevent domestic violence, to help those who are impacted by domestic violence, and to hold perpetrators accountable. And whereas we must strive to live in a society where domestic violence is not tolerated, where survivors are supported, and where all people have an opportunity to thrive without fear of violence or abuse. And whereas during the month of October, we honor the tremendous dedication of victim advocates and service providers, honor the courage and resilience of survivors, and recommit ourselves to standing with them for safety, dignity, and justice. Now therefore let it be known on this day, the 9th day of October, 2023, that the Aransas County Commissioners Court duly convened and acting in its capacity as the governing body of Aransas County, hereby proclaims the month of October 2023 as Domestic Violence Prevention and Awareness Month. The Aransas County Commissioner Court urges all residents to come together to reaffirm our commitment to ending domestic violence and to work together as we continue to refuse to tolerate abuse, support victims, and hold perpetrators accountable for their actions this October, throughout the year, and in the years to come.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. We're going to strike number 4 and move on to number 5.
I move to approve Proclamation P 14/2023, recognizing October as Texas Archaeology Month. I'll second that.
Okay, Proclamation P-14, 2023. Whereas Texas heritage is rich in cultural diversity as represented by the numerous archaeological and historic sites within our state, and whereas preservation on Texas prehistoric and historic archaeological sites offers significant cultural, educational, and economic benefits to all citizens, and whereas each archaeological and historic site is unique and irreplaceable part of Texas history, and whereas knowledge and understanding of our past is threatened by intentional and unintentional destruction, and whereas the Texas Historical Commission, Texas Archaeological Society, Council of Texas Archaeologists, and the Texas Historical Foundation have joined with museums, local archaeological societies, county historical commissions, and other preservation groups to promote public awareness and involvement in protecting these significant cultural resources. And whereas Texas Archaeology Month offers an opportunity for all citizens to reflect on Texas' unique legacy and the contributions archaeological investigations offer in interpreting and understanding our past. Now, therefore, we, the County Commissioners Court, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2023 to be Texas Archaeology Month in Aransas County and urge all citizens to join in recognizing Texas Archaeology Month by visiting archaeology exhibits at local museums, societies, history centers, visiting historic sites in Aransas County and the Coastal Bend, and attending educational seminars and archaeology and historic preservation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye. We kind of jumped the start.
I
Did
was
you have
too
any
fast,
words to
sorry.
say? I'm sorry.
Sure. We did the History Center actually did a great job getting the Armadillo Gang done or had started. Gosh, when was that? It was a couple weeks ago, but they did an archaeological presentation and the kids were just fascinated with it. We had Pam did a great job getting like some pottery to put together. And the kids had a great time putting that together, putting tools, shell tools and everything together. And the librarian said she had never seen classes that quiet during these presentations. So I think we're doing some good work out in the school, and we started off with archaeology.
I saw some of the posts on Facebook, and the kids were very much engaged, and I think there were about 6 different group leaders that worked with the kids.
There were, and the History Center always, and Pam Stranahan,
Yeah, she's
you know,
terrific.
obviously, I mean, she's just a pillar of Aransas County history and Texas history in general. But yeah, they did a great job. I mean, I was even fascinated at some of the tools that were found here in the county that were made by the Karankawa Indians, and even some of the pottery things, and then Texas Parks and Wildlife came out, and a few other history entities within the county. But it was pretty good. And I'm looking forward to more activities like that in the school.
Perfect. All right. Let's go ahead and take a photo.
Photo op.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Did I put that in your way?
All right. All right, item number 6 is a presentation. Yes.
Move to approve the consent agenda?
Oh, no, item number 6.
You said
It's a
six.
presentation.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry.
The Animal Welfare Committee.
Judge Garza, Commissioners, thank you so much for the time to be able to give this presentation today. My name is Melissa Escovel, and I am a board member for the Aransas County Animal Welfare Advisory Board. And I just kind of wanted to go over some findings that I've had in the 2.5 months that I've been on the board. The first thing I'm going to start off with is I'm going to ask a question for the public and for the commissioners. There's no need to answer, but the question is as follows. When we go to a doctor, do we ask them to treat a condition or a symptom? And I'm going to ask that again. When we go to the doctor, do we ask them to treat the condition or the symptom? You don't have to answer. But the reason why I bring this up is because the public and the court, I want them to understand, I'm discussing the topic of euthanasia right now. It's not a solution to our problem. It's treating a symptom of a problem. And I want to elaborate by what I mean by that. We can spend time talking about euthanasia today and how it will eliminate the overcrowding issue that we have at the shelter. But I can tell you that it's not because, I'm sorry, I don't think I'm being heard very well here. The reason why I bring that up is because I'm discussing the current overcrowding issue that we have at the shelter. I can tell you today, we can go out to that shelter and we can choose 30 dogs and we can put them all down. And we're going to have 30 empty shelters, empty kennels. Next week, we're going to come back and we're going to have it full. Okay, the reason being is because we're treating a symptom of a problem. So with knowing that, we have to ask ourselves, what exactly is the problem that we're dealing with? So it stems from various types of pet ownership. We have some irresponsible pet owners, maybe those that need education on how to care for a pet, owners that may be financially disadvantaged or physically impaired. So one of the things in my profession that I do is I create policies and protocols, and I do that through research. I network and I communicate with people who work in the same industry as I do, and I seek out their expertise. This particular situation is no different. So with that being said, I've spent a few weeks doing some research and I found out two things. One is our issue that we're facing is not isolated. This is nationwide. This isn't just Aransas County. The other one is that the path to improving these circumstances has already been laid out for us, okay? There's no reason for us to be innovative. We don't have to reinvent the wheel here. There's shelters and rescues all throughout the nation that are already done the thinking for us. And they already have a plan of action in place, and all we have to do is follow in those footsteps. They have some really great programs that they've created to try to resolve the overcrowding issue and the pet issue in their communities. Some of them are pet retention programs, dog behavior training courses, free spay-neuter programs, low-cost wellness clinics, food assistant programs. Those accommodate our low-income community, correct? So these programs take very little monetary resources from the agencies, and they require just a few changes within the shelter to implement. They're funded through personal donations, nonprofit organizations, companies within the community. It's a full collaboration with the community that makes them so successful. Everyone contributes and everyone shares that responsibility. There are people out there that are ready to help, but we have to let them know that we need it. So very quickly, there is one protocol that's been put in place by a lot of shelters. And when I speak of these shelters, I'm talking about Bernie, Corpus Christi, San Antonio, Austin, Waco, Dallas, a lot of big cities. One of the things that they do is that they stop owner and finder surrenders. Now, that's off-putting to say that. A lot of people are kind of hesitant and reluctant to think about that. But it really is a great program when it's utilized correctly. And what they do is when they have somebody bring a surrender in, they don't just shut the door on them and tell them, we're not going to help you, right? We're at capacity, we're not going to help you. What they do is they offer assistance to them. They give them guidance and they educate them on the process. They may say, do you want to keep that dog temporarily for a short amount of time? We're going to provide basic care such as rabies vaccinations, food, a temporary kennel, but we're also going to help you. We're going to scan the dog for a microchip. We're going to post it on these pages to try to find the owner. And after that short amount of time, if you decide you want to continue to foster, we're going to shift over into looking for an owner, a new home for that dog, correct? So that program does a few things. It keeps the dog from being placed in the shelter. It provides a plan of action for the public to assist with locating owners. And it also helps educate the public on the current crisis and informing them that dropping a dog off means that it may die there, correct? If you go to Houston's website, they're very open to the public. They have it literally listed on their website that if you do not pick up a dog if you're not capable of assisting with the care. And that's important because with this messaging, the public learns that the shelter is a kill facility. And why is that important? It's because there are people in the community right now that are under the misconception that when they surrender a dog, it will find a new home. And if you want the public to take this crisis seriously, you have to educate them. They deserve to know that there may be a negative outcome when they bring a dog to the shelter, and when the public becomes aware of this, they're more apt to step up. This is how we get the public involved, through awareness and education. So I'm going to talk about my own experiences very quickly since I've opened up the Empty Kennel Facebook page. I've had it open for about 2.5 months. And it's an information hub, that's all it is. There's resources floating all around cyberspace, and I looked at it and went, we need to pull this together for the public to have access to these resources. We don't take donations. It's literally informative. But one of the things that I publish on there a lot is a program that I had found when I was researching, and it's called the PAC, P-A-A-C, Street Program. And PAC is a nonprofit organization that is based out of Corpus that does low-cost clinic and free spay and neuter programs for 7 counties, Aransas County being one of them. And I had noticed that that program had been in effect in Aransas County for about a year, but there had only been about 7 streets placed on that program. So I called PAC up and I said, hey, what do we need to do to resurrect this? And they're like, you're already on it. I just need somebody to send me some streets. So what I do is every week I send a new grid of streets in Aransas County, and since in the last 2 months I've added approximately 70 streets into that program. So everybody that resides there, if you reside on that street, you set an appointment with PAC, you get free spay and neuter for as many cats and dogs that you have, free rabies vaccination, heartworm checks. It's my goal that within the next 6 months, I'm going to have the entire county covered. It doesn't void out, one street list doesn't void out the previous, they stack until eventually we cover the entire county to where every resident in Aransas County has access to free spay and neuter. One of the other things that the Facebook page has done, just by putting the information out there and talking about the situation that we're facing, we have a food drive. I was contacted by Andrew Basner with Pet Wants of Corpus Christi. He has a 1,000-pound food drive that he's running for the shelter and for the nonprofits and the fosters here. And in 7 days, he's collected 400 pounds of donations already. So we're going to reach that goal. He also donated a booth for us at Market Days so that we can promote our cause and have an adoption event. Mr. Thomas Myhausen, who's the event coordinator for Market Days, he contacted me. He wants to spotlight the event as well. PAC, the same thing. We're the exclusive shelter that's going to be spotlighted in their annual Ed Hicks Subaru adoption event. Taurus Canine, this is one of my favorite ones. Taurus Canine, a dog behavioral training school in Aransas Pass. They specialize in military and police dogs. They contacted me and said, hey, we want to reach out. We want to help you with pet retention. We want to teach basic command training to your in-shelter dogs, to your volunteers, to your fosters, to your new adoptive parents, so that will help with pet retention by learning how to have basic commands with your dogs. So most of these programs came out by just bringing to light the current situation, and none of them are of any cost to the county. Okay, these are all free services just by putting the information out there. So the point that I want to make is that we do have a situation to deal with. It's not the responsibility of one agency or organization, and it does take a community to solve this. However, we need to get the word out, and we have to educate the public on the situation, educate them on what options are available, seek out our alternatives, implement some new policies and procedures, and take a new approach to finding solutions that maintain public safety, but also protect the innocent, which is the dogs. I'm a perfect example of what happens when a member of the public has become educated, because I'm aware of what has created the situations and what can be done. I'm able to act and contribute to the solution. So just imagine if all Aransas County had that kind of knowledge. In ending, I want to say one thing. Although we may feel it, we have very little options available to us, which is why we keep going back to the subject is euthanasia as a solution. What we really need to do is put that topic to the side for a while. I want you to remember what I talked about today, because in reality, we haven't even begun to start the process of resolving the overcrowding issues in Aransas County. In comparison to the shelters in Texas, we're behind in the game. Those agencies understand the need for community involvement. They understand what causes the overcrowding to begin with and have put some great thought in their approach to solve it. They're pros at it, and we should strive to walk in their footsteps. They've recruited the help of the community and found very successful ways to bring in their services to the residents in need with minimal cost to the agency. And most of all, they understand that the dogs in the shelter are there by no fault of their own, but at the end of the day, they will be the ones that suffer the consequence. It would be a shame to allow these dogs to be put down without first utilizing the same cost-effective and successful solutions implemented by so many other counties throughout the state of Texas. So thank you very much for your time.
Melissa, thank you very much for that information. I wasn't aware of that organization, and I am going to certainly share your information. So thank you for the research. Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
No problem, I appreciate it.
Thank you. And we have citizens to be heard, Ms. Deetra Cirillo. And
I think it's Chiriello.
Chiriello.
So this is an email I received. Dear Commissioner Rousseau, my name is Deidre Chiriello. My address is 2615 Highway 35 North, Rockport, Texas, Please accept and read my comment below as part of Wendy Lobbach's agenda item. Pursuant to Aransas County Order, Volume 40, pages 76J and K, providing for Aransas County animal control, animal regulations, Section 2.2 states that all identified dangerous dogs must be registered by the owner. Dangerous dogs include those identified as dangerous by Aransas County. In response to my question regarding how many dangerous dogs are currently registered in the county, Aransas County Animal Control Director Lori Cesar responded that as of October 4th, 2023, there were no dangerous dogs registered in Aransas County. Since there are no dangerous dogs registered in the county, by definition, there are no dangerous dogs housed at the county's animal control facility. That's it.
All right. We will move on to,
Did Wendy want to speak?
Wendy, did you?
No, I had nothing to add.
All right, thank you. All right, move on to the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Got a motion, got a second. I'm gonna acknowledge some donations. Hope I get these all right. We've got donated value and services donated from Another Chance RFT to Aransas County for August with a total two-month total of $11,172
For August and September.
for August and September. I want to acknowledge and accept a donation from Barbara Morris, 2019 Trust, in the amount of $100 to the Aransas County Public Library. Acknowledge and accept a donation of $100 from Roger and Pat White for Aransas County Animal Care Services for supplies. Acknowledge and accept a donation of animal supplies valued at $150 from Lisa Honeycutt for Aransas County Animal Care Services. Acknowledge and accept a donation of $50 from Diane Clark for Aransas County Animal Care Services. And that's it. If there are no questions, let's go and vote.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye, passes 5-0, no opposition. We'll move on to item number 13.
I move to acknowledge receipt of and record in the minutes of Commissioners Court a list of salaries for Aransas County elected officials for 2024.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second, and citizens be heard. We got Misty Kimbrough.
I felt it important to speak to this as an elected official who did choose to accept the COLA raise, to explain why I did that. I do respect Commissioner Russo. 90% of the time, I absolutely agree with her.
That's more than most people.
This one was one I don't. I did choose to accept the 2% COLA raise and the $100 for longevity pay. Although I was elected, or county clerk-elect on March 1st of 2022, I was not allowed any say at all on the 2023 budget. I was not allowed to have any input or even be included in on that process. So therefore, I was forced to follow a budget that I had nothing to do with. There were things I felt necessary for my office to function better. A double computer for our public stations, and that will also be used in the new courthouse. A table for our lunch, storage, Zoom meeting, private conversations, evaluations, and interviews, room. It's a multiple room that had no furniture in there. A stand for the microfiche reader, and this will be used in the new courthouse as well. The American and Texas flag that's hanging in my office. I have one question on that thought. Why are flags not in every office? We're a government entity. We are sworn to uphold and preserve our laws for the state and the United States. Why aren't our flags in there? Team building, monies for a team building event, for education, celebrating birthdays. I always bring food in because we do it during lunch hour because that's when we can all be there. There are no monies in our budget for any of these items. These are coming out of my pocket. I have spent several $1,000s out of my own pocket to do these things. I feel strongly enough that even if I were never to get any money back, I would still do it. If we want our employees to feel appreciated, we need to do these things. If we want our employees to excel, we must have education moments. I've paid for snacks because sometimes we end up working through lunch due to courts and other things. Sometimes they're working late into the night. We recently had a trial that went to 8 p.m. They were not allowed to leave for dinner. We need snacks when those things happen. Meals for birthday celebrations, meals for training, gifts and flowers for those moments. I have one staff that's moving this week. I should be able to give her gifts and things. I also make less per hour now than I did as collections because of the number of hours that I actually work. I tried to be available to my staff during business hours to answer questions and training and decisions. We are still a new team, and there's still a lot of that has to happen. Then I do my work after hours. I know this is a tight budget, and it seems that accepting COLA is not something that should be done, but personally, I have spent several $1,000s out of pocket for my office and my staff. With everything getting more expensive, I am taking the COLA raise to offset some of my out-of-pocket expenses. I believe that just because we're elected, it does not mean that we and our families are not feeling the pinch at the grocery store, gas pump, tax bills, electricity, water, etc., just like everyone else. If you have any questions about what I have spent or would like to see it, please feel free to come to my office. Commissioner Dupnick is the only one who has come to my office to see how my office is actually running and took time to learn all it is that we do in there. Commissioner Dupnick, I thank you for taking time out of your day to come in. It meant a lot to me and my staff. You made us feel noticed and appreciated. Thank you, Commissioners and Judge, for the opportunity to speak to this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did anyone else want to speak?
No, this is,
I'd like to say something, and thank you, Misty, for your comments. Part of the reason that I wanted to do this is when the first notice appeared in the paper, it did not correctly reflect what had been selected by people. It showed what the potential was. There is a difference between what is the potential cost or what is the potential salary, what is the potential COLA, and what is the reality. I found out from checking with Mike Probst that the cost of that ad was not $1,000 to $1,300. It was $300 plus, maybe $360. I can't remember the exact figure. $360 is a lot less than $1,000 to $1,300. I wanted a fair and accurate posting, which we received last Wednesday in the paper, that showed what we are actually taking for 2023 and what we will be taking for 2024. That was my intent. Perhaps next year, when we put the notice in, it will be correct, and it will not show the potential, it will show the reality.
Judge, I would like to answer that also, or speak to it. For the cost of the ad, we did pay over $600 for that ad. We did not pay $300 for the initial ad. I don't know how the ad got in for less money, but we did pay almost $700 for it. That ad that was put in, the second one, was to prove that a couple of commissioners didn't take the $500 increase. I do apologize for that. We did ask, it was asked to be put on the agenda. It was put on the agenda. It was also altered because we did not have names on it. We do not publish the names. We only publish positions. It was changed after it was sent to the paper to put commissioners or all elected officials' names on it, and we do not do that.
I just want to say that the notice that's required by statute does not require that we put what has been accepted or not, because at the time the notice is required to be published, it's proposed budget and proposed possible increases. So it was correct at the time that it was published that the election to accept it or not was not effective because the budget hadn't been approved. I just want to make clear that the notice that went in the first time was not incorrect. It just didn't include the information that one of the commissioners wanted it to include.
I want the public to know what the elected officials are really being paid for the year. Whether or not that's what the Texas Government Code requires that we post or not, I think that there's some way that we can get that information out to the public. But I appreciate the fact that certain things have to be posted, I guess, before the budget is finalized. I still want the public to know what the actual salaries are that elected officials are receiving.
I'd like to question if the commissioner has the authority to go change the posting. I understand that Commissioner Russo went to the paper herself and changed it, not the judge, not anybody, not the court or anything.
Sir, I was in conversation with the judge. I am not a renegade. And I had received the information that I had first requested from the auditor's office. It was the wrong spreadsheet. And so I asked for the correct spreadsheet.
So did the judge authorize you to go change it?
After I got a quote.
He's
I
really
did.
the only one that has the power to do that.
Commissioner.
Not to change the form, but I did say, I thought it was the same form that we used.
No, the form that was sent to you did not have the information that was put in the paper. It did not have the who took it and who didn't, and it did not have the names on it because we do not publish the names. We publish positions. There were never any of the names put on there. When it got to the paper and the second time it was published, it had all the precinct and elected officials' names on there. We do not do that. So it was edited before the paper published it. And again, we did not pay $300. If the paper gave you that amount, they gave a special price because we have always paid over $600 or $800 for that ad. And that's why we quoted that to you when you asked for it to be published the first time that you asked for it to be republished. That's when it was agreed to put it on the agenda instead of republishing it, but it got put back in the paper at a different price.
This seems like a relatively minor issue, except that what the court accepts is what should go in the paper. I mean, that's what is the action of the court. It's not a definition by any individual court member. If they want to change it, get interviewed, and then they can talk about their personal thing. I think this was just an oversight. I don't think there was any intent necessarily in this, but what we agree to is what it should be. And if we want to change it, we'll change it, but we'll change it as a body, not as an individual. And so I just, I think this is unfortunate, but I do think that it needs to be stopped.
Just one more time, the only thing we're required to publish is the pre-budget approval notice, and that's what we published in the past. No one here, staff or otherwise, is opposed to everyone knowing what the elected officials chose to accept or not. There's no reason why we would object to anybody knowing that. The reason why this conversation has taken place is because the notice we've always published does not include people's names, ever. It's always been the office. If someone would like to publish a notice with additional information, none of us are opposed. The reason why the auditor is bringing up the fact that it was changed is because we were surprised to see that the notice published is purported to be an Aransas County document, but it's not the document produced by Aransas County, which would be the auditor's office. I also took a look at it, and we made sure the notice at the top did indicate that it was a revised version after the budget was approved. So these are the amounts that were actually accepted. Please know that none of us have a problem with anybody knowing what everyone has chosen to do. The issue really is if the court wants us to publish a notice after the budget every year, that's something we can do. It just needs to be budgeted as an expense for us to be able to pay. That's all.
All right. Let's go and vote. Or this is
Commissioner
just-
Cheney?
What are we voting on?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was just a discussion.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to item number 14.
Move to approve Resolution R 25, 2023, a resolution designating the county judge as a program director and contact person for the Indigent Defense Grant Program.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second. Ms. Jackie?
Well, Commissioner Russo had requested how much we had spent on our indigent defense, and I wanted to get some clarification. I have two different numbers. The grant is by an October, September date, but you had asked for annual, so I wanted to clarify and make sure that I've got both numbers. Okay.
Okay, what I was looking for, and thank you for that clarification, Jackie. It appears this grant is, if it's awarded, would be for about 15,000, and then I think that later on, we might be eligible for additional funds from what I could read. I just wondered what sort of a cost is there to Aransas County that this 15,000 will be an offset against?
Well,
So if you have it
I
in the
have it
same
by-
calendar year
I
as the
have it for
state?
our calendar years, and for 2022, we spent $356,572. And 23 through September, it's $278,954. Those do not all go in for the grant. The grant, we normally get about $30,000 reimbursed. There are a lot of the attorney's fees that we pay that are not, not reimbursable by the grant. So those numbers are significantly different.
Right. And I wasn't sure what the numbers would be, but I thought that it was a very large expense for the county.
It is a very
Yes.
large expense for the county, and a large, very large part of it is not reimbursed
Okay.
through the grant. These are only criminal that are reimbursed, criminal and child juvenile. Well, juvenile, but also the CPS cases. They've started reimbursing some on CPS.
So we may get an offset around, like you said,
About
$30,000,
$30,000 is normally what we get.
which looks like it's a little less than 10% of what our costs were. Okay, I just want people to understand how much this cost is to the county. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 15.
I move to accept Resolution R27, 2023, a resolution stating that Aransas County will not support any mandate that requires a person to wear a mask or face covering, that confines a person to their home, that requires business to modify operations, or requires vaccinations without a person's informed consent.
Got a motion? Do I have a second? If not, I'll second it.
Thank you.
All right, got a motion, got a second, and I'm gonna, would you like to speak now, ma'am? Thank you.
I am Kim Hesley,
And your address, please?
in 2003 Tully Park Drive, Rockport. We're all individuals, and we all have unique health situations, and we know what our own bodies will tolerate. And I don't feel like anyone should have to choose between their health and earning a living or providing for their family. No one should be prohibited from obtaining goods and services because of required medical intervention that's not of their choice. And I saw that the city of Odessa had passed a resolution like this, and so I contacted my commissioner, Commissioner Rousseau, and I asked her if Aransas County might be willing to do the same thing. And so she has taken the ball and run with it, and I really appreciate it. We have a special session starting today in the legislature, third special session, and the governor has put this issue on the call, and I applaud him for listening to the grassroots. And I think it's still very important for our local bodies to take a stand on this. And so I want to thank the court for being willing to take a look at this and to do what governments are supposed to do, protect the rights and liberties of our citizens. So I am in full support of this resolution, and I hope to see a unanimous yes vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm gonna read the statement of,
I have a legal question to ask on this.
can I read the statement first?
Okay.
Okay, thanks. I can't,
Judge, I'll have a statement also from a constituent.
oh, okay. Who do you have?
Brad Brumback.
Oh, okay. I'm going to read a statement from Deborah Stevens, 2005 Baywood Drive, Rockport. She's for it. COVID tyranny totally obliterated every right granted in the First Amendment. Across the country and even in parts of Texas, citizens were denied church services. Their speech was silenced. Media that did not follow government talking points were suppressed. Peaceful protesting was not permitted unless buildings were burned and business owners were arrested for simply trying to make a living. The First Amendment does not have an asterisk that says there is an exception for an emergency. This was not the first time that the government has used fear and an emergency, in quotes, to find ways to limit freedoms and privacy, and it will not be the last. Aransas County should stand for freedom. And you may go, sir.
Okay. This is from Mr. Brad Brumback. I didn't get a response on his address from him yet. I may have it in my file, I don't know, but not yet. Anyways, it's specifically the resolution stating that the county will not support any mask mandate, lockdown, business operation, modification, or vaccination mandate. It says, I urge you to vote against this resolution for 2 reasons. 1, there's no one in Aransas County qualified to make the decisions as to whether these actions are justified from a medical standpoint. And 2, state law would trump any local resolution. So this item is simply political grandstanding and nothing more. Something I think we have too much of already. And thank you. That's Brad Brumback.
Thank you. Commissioner.
My question is related to, for instance, the courthouse. If we had an order to wear a mask.
The state law.
And the people that wanted to wear, didn't want to wear masks, didn't have to. How about the people that worked here that were scared to come to work because people weren't wearing masks? What would our liabilities and things have in that situation?
Well, the state legislature did take some action this past session in Senate Bill 29. And Senate Bill 29 did provide that governmental entities cannot institute mask or vaccine mandates. So right now, the Commissioners Court would not be able to put a mask requirement into place at the courthouse. So the questions you have regarding how that impacts our employees are questions that should be directed to the state legislature, because that's already happened and we have no control over that. The part of this resolution that has not been addressed by the state legislature is what happens in privately owned businesses. This resolution says that the county doesn't support those businesses instituting such mandates. And as your statement that you read, Commissioner Dupnick, noted, that any federal law that comes into place would trump a local resolution. So keep in mind that while Commissioners Court may vote today that it doesn't support those measures, the Commissioners Court does not have the authority to make that type of a decision about whether those mandates would be legal. Did that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So, as it is now, the county judge is ultimately responsible for the health and safety of county offices, basically, other than law enforcement. You know, if the county judge thinks that it's necessary to lock the building at a certain time, or the functions of the building, as I understand it, that is a function of the county judge. Now, if the Commissioners Court don't want to do that, then they have the authority to at least recommend to the judge that he change that or she change that as it is. But I'm not real sure whether this resolution is for all citizens in my home, or people that are congregating in a government building.
The way it's written currently, and what I should clarify in my statement regarding governmental entities, the courthouse, for example, cannot be the subject of a mandatory mask requirement for people visiting the courthouse. That doesn't necessarily mean that the Commissioners Court, or like you suggest, the county judge, could require employees to wear masks. I don't know that that's been clearly outlined for us or not. But as the state law currently sits, governmental entities are not able to institute on their own any mask or vaccination mandate. If such mandate came from the federal government, there would be a question, of course, as to which law would prevail. But the general consensus, I think, is that the federal law would prevail.
Okay. So this resolution, as it is written, says that we support the letting the citizens choose whether they want to do it or not, pending any changes from the federal government.
No, the resolution as worded says you support Senate Bill 29, essentially the state law that was recently passed by the legislature, but that you take it a step further and you're going to make the statement that you do not support private businesses instituting such mandates. That's what it means as written.
Judge?
Yes.
I won't say I'm on the bubble on this, but I'm against any mandates, personally, as far as that goes. I don't want this to come across as a court, and this is, again, a resolution, but I don't like the idea of a court coming across and telling a private business or a private individual that we don't think they should do something. That's not our duty as a court, and as a court, we've got a lot more important things going on in this county than a resolution like this. That's just bothered me. I mean, I'm all in favor of not having government telling us what to do, but, you know, we've got all kinds of other issues in our county, health issues, nuisance issues, and things like that. And we should be focused on those more than something like this, really, to be honest with you.
And again, the resolution's not asking us to break the law or not enforce the law. It's just, like you said, resolution and not support any mandates.
And I have to say, I did not wear a mask today because of this item. I want to make that clear to you. Having just been exposed to COVID myself this weekend, it is kind of timely that we're talking about this again. I know it's been a quiet topic for some months, but it is something that's still alive and well in our community. And having read the ordinance adopted by the city of Odessa, I just want to point out that because something is adopted doesn't mean it won't be challenged in a court of law. And there's, in my opinion, no reason why we should try to go and make law. We should agree that we're going to enforce the law, and this resolution does that.
You're saying this resolution does say we will enforce the law?
It says we would not support private businesses doing anything that would require a mandate, but it doesn't say it's not allowed or that we want to get involved in that decision.
It says we will not require businesses to change their hours of operation. And I would just mention, yes, I did hear from Ms. Hesley, and I appreciate it. I looked into this. There's a group called Texans for Vaccine Choice. They were formed in February of 2015. And that was in response to House Bill 2006, which was a bill filed during the 84th Texas legislature that aimed to remove religious exemptions from vaccinations for students. A band of parents and legislators worked together diligently to fight this off, and 16 other bills that were proposed that session that attempted to mandate vaccines, limit liberties due to personal medical choices, override parental guardian consent, and increase tracking. So with the help and guidance of liberty-loving elected officials, Texans for Vaccine Choice is now a widely recognized organization across Texas. They are dedicated to protecting medical freedom and vaccine choice by ensuring the issue remains at the forefront of political discourse, promoting incumbents and candidates who strongly support their values, and drafting legislation to further solidify the rights. They're a 501c4 nonprofit organization focused on advocacy. Going forward, they hope to continue to represent supporters and all others who share their ideals with dignity and empower people to become politically involved, which I think that was Ms. Hesley's idea, educate the public, and ensure that vaccine choice remains a right, free of consequence or interference from government or bureaucracy. We are a community basically powered by tourism and some other industry. But I ask you to think back 4 years when museums, hotels, restaurants, any public places, including grocery stores, were either shut down or severely curtailed their business operations. This takes a stand and says, we will not require businesses to follow those mandates. We're not going to mandate what they have to do. We're just not going to encourage them to follow mandates that were passed down their throats.
We don't have the authority to mandate anything as Commissioner's Court, though, anyway. That's the whole.
I don't think that's what the resolution says. I think the resolution acknowledges that the state law is that governmental entities cannot have mandatory mask or vaccination requirements. I don't think that we're actually giving an opinion regarding what private business might choose to do. We're just saying that we don't think mask and vaccination mandates should be in place. That's it. But as far as enforcing, there is some language in there about not making people close their businesses early, and also informed consent. People having vaccinations, having informed consent over the type of vaccination they're receiving. That is the extent of the resolution.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's nothing further. Let's go and vote.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0, no opposition. Let's move on to item number 16.
I move to approve the Historic Commission report for the third quarter of 2023.
And I get to follow that. Great.
Can we have a second?
I'll second that.
Got a motion, got a second. Good morning.
I've got a slide. There we go. This is really not too much new in this. Basically, most of this is just regular funds for sponsorships. We did hire a new intern. So I'm holding some money back for that because we need to pay that intern to archive to put our archives in Past Perfect. Next year, hopefully, we could put that online as well, so the public can view those archives. I'm waiting for a couple of invoices as well, as you could tell. Okay, if we can go to the next slide, or can I forward that? Markers this year, we probably won't do any dedications because we're still waiting for some, for the markers to be put into Foundry. And again, like I said before, I'm still waiting for our intern to archive our, to put our archives in Past Perfect, so we can, and then I can figure out what kind of preservation material we need to buy, because we do have some of our archives that are getting really bad, and we need to do a better job in preserving them. Do you have any questions on that part?
No, I'm excited that you're getting them into Past Perfect, because I used to be on the Historical Commission, and that was something we were talking about, and we were just getting ready to make the purchase of that software, so.
Yeah, we need we need to do a little bit more with that. It's just a matter of trying to figure out what we have, how to preserve what we have, and, you know, getting them in Past Perfect correctly. A couple other things. What I gave you is, and this is just for your information, is a 2025 pamphlet. It is the nation's, I can't say it, so I'm just going to call what the short term is. It's called the SEMIQ. It's our 250th and America's 250th birthday. And along with that, of course, we're doing the Smithsonian's Museum on Main Street starting January 2025, so that's a great kickoff. I'm really not sure what we have planned in this county, or if we're going to plan anything in this county, but it is a discussion item, and I just gave you a pamphlet on that. The other thing Commissioner Russo had asked me the last time I spoke was continuity within the Historical Commission, and we are on 2-year terms every odd year, but the people that are coming off they're not on the commission per se, but they are there as advisors. I know I get matter of fact, after this, I'm sure Betty Stiles will call me and tell me what I did right or wrong or something like that, but we get advice from those that are coming off. So there is some continuity, and then we've got some great people in the other historical areas that will advise us on things we should be doing or shouldn't be doing. So hopefully that answers your question.
I think so, but thank you.
Any questions?
All right, thank you.
You're free.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 17.
I move to accept the Rockport Center for the Arts report for the third quarter of 2023.
I'll second that. Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
How's everybody doing?
Doing well, Luis.
Long day ahead, so I'm going to be as swift as I possibly can. Here's our report for marketing expenditures for the past quarter, which ended in September. We're reporting on both our activities for both brands, the Arts Center and the Conference Center. The Art Festival happened on July 1st and 2nd. And this is our marketing campaign through BucketWorks. That is our media buyer that helps us promote our activities through a variety of robust media, such as television, radio, and online. Commissioner Russo asked me to explain what the significance of DMAs is. And DMA means demographic market area. So for example, if you were to look at Corpus Christi, it's all the counties that surround Corpus Christi. And I believe for radio, and just to name one media outlet, there are a total of 14. Around Victoria, there would be a total of 12. And so here are all of the places where we advertised. We did digital campaigns as well. You can see examples of those there. And how the media expenditures happen, television, radio, digital, and outdoor. Here's the distribution of media allocations. So we spent 44% on television, 13 on digital, 25 in radio, and we do a lot of digital billboard ads. You see those up there at, I believe, 15%.
Digital billboards, are those the ones that they'll change? They're
Yes.
kind of electronic?
Yeah, there's one on the Causeway from Corpus to here. And we do about 6 or 7 of them in different markets, including outside Houston, Austin, San Antonio, places like that. Most of our expenditures happen in major metro, is how we decide to spend our funds. This is the actual detail media buy. It's spread by whether it's broadcast, whether it's radio, whether it's digital, and which outlets we utilized to make those expenditures. You see some of those outdoor ads there. RGV Houston, Rio Grande Valley is RGV. Floresville, Pleasanton, we had a digital billboard ad over there. Outside Kyle, which is outside Austin. Lamar ad over in Corpus Christi, and so on and so forth. So we did experience a little downturn in attendance to the festival, which L&F Distributors, which is our beer distributor for the art festival, says was common because of the heat. They had a lot of outdoor festivals that they underwrite and sponsor. Traditionally, our attendance is between 9,000 to 11,000, and you see here that our attendance, our visitation was 7,088. We had a very slow Saturday. We had a much heartier than usual Sunday. You could see those, the data, 4,000 versus 3,000 on both of those days. But what is interesting to look at is the data down below where it says the percentages of visitation from outside 75 miles, and that data showed robustness matching last year's robust data. And here are the questions that we ask people. What is your zip code? Are you staying in an area lodging facility? And if so, how many nights? And then we tabulate all that data. Data collection is the very core of every employee at the Arts Center, and it is used throughout every single event, every activity, and visitation to the center itself.
On that one, Luis, please. I think the colors were reversed. And
Yes, they are.
The print was
yeah.
kind of tiny, but, so in 2022, is that percent like 16%? I can't quite make it out.
It
on
is
my-
16%.
Okay, so
And
16% in 2022, we're staying in area lodging. And then this year, it went up to 21%.
Exactly.
Okay,
So
it
it
was-
showed increased robustness. I'm sorry, we used different colors this year than last, so it is confusing. I apologize for that. Here's where people came from. In the United States, just about every state except a few up in the middle part of the state, north, near Canada, and countries across, Europe as well as Asia. And here is at a glance looking at the art festival going all the way back to 2015. Not only the attendance, but also percent visitors from zip codes greater than 75 miles, which is the rubric that we manage. You see that this year it was 58%, whereas last year it was 59%. And that's what tells us the heads and beds, basically. You have some graphics that illustrate not only the visitation, total visitation, but also the percentage from those desirable markets. And some additional data. We had a lot of exhibits. Some of them continued through the summer. And now we're going to look at the Rock, Performing Arts Series at the Rock. We had our first sold-out performing concert by Marsha Ball. She's a big star. 258 visitors to that, and a lot of them came from areas outside of our county. The reason we fundraised, we also had our arts-based program. You can see that we have 32% growth from last year, 386 youth versus 292 last year. And that's because we now have, more facilities, larger facilities, et cetera. So we're able to take in more people.
And those are free camps.
Those are free camps. And this year, this is our summer camp that everybody knows about. But most people do not know that we also started a summer ballet camp, totally free. We serve 40 youth. Contact hours were 800, and it was fully staffed. And then we started our Young Chefs Summer Camp. So we're trying to serve our children in our community in a variety of ways where they still get touched by art. And we serve 32 students in Young Chefs. Total contact hours is 480. Now we're going to look at the Rock, the conference center. This is the activities that happen there, 735 new. This is a totally new area for 735 people served in a variety of 9 events. We don't have conclusive data because one of the events that was a rental happened in September, and they had not provided us our zip codes for that event, but I look forward to bringing them to you next quarter. And that's for the Hummingbird Festival. This is where people came from to visit the Rock in the state, around the country. This is our advertising campaign. We had advertised in the Texas Society of Association Executives. That's a $10,000 buy. And those are the arts that they are served. We have the perennial sponsor, the Rock is, for a PBS program called The Great American Recipe. That's one of the ads that was being served on television as well as social. And this is our just general campaign. You see this report every quarter. This covers July through September. It's a $4,000 investment, and it tells you some of the data with click-through rates. It's how we get sources for rentals, for visitation for the Rock in that quarter. Those are the ads that are being served. We have our e-commerce report, which is also very robust. 468 transactions, $49,000 in sales, and those are the regions where transactions were happening.
And 49,000 just in the quarter.
Just in that quarter, yeah. Yeah, it's very robust. E-commerce is so important, and the reason we designed a new website in 2019 that cost us a lot of money was because we wanted to do more transactions online. It's just the way the business is going. Social media, again, very robust campaigns matching the numbers that we experienced last quarter. The outgoing message here being we had 22,000 visits to social media, a 22% increase over the same period last year, 17,000 almost unique visits, 19% increase over the same period last year. So our campaigns are really working.
What are unique visits?
To social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, those are our primary pages. Yeah. And we started a new program earlier this year, the Austin Street Art Walk. And it's an aim to help the robustness that the Art Center brings to the downtown area and spreading the wealth across our neighbors, our restaurants, other galleries, and other shops and activities in the downtown area. These are the records for visitation at the Art Center. So we see that in July we had almost 5,000 people. That's usually our best month of the year. And then total quarterly visitation is 7,500 people. You can see that tourism is at 45%, 46% in July, 60% almost in August, and 51% in September. So if you calculate, multiply the 7,500 by a median of those three allocation percentages of people visiting from beyond 75 miles, you can make a very asserted guess as to the heads and beds, because those are the markets people are coming from, and it's where we spend the majority of our advertising funds in major metro. You see the visitation there for Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, and San Antonio, as well as rural tourism and tourism from across the state of Texas. Here you see a spread of how that happened in the month of July through September, and where people came from in a map, making it more attractive to look at visually. So our reach is really going far into West Texas. We are advertising in the Marfa area, which is another robust art market, in El Paso. And then just a dissection in an optic way. And where tourism is coming from. So you see on the top, you see July through September of 22. And then on the left-hand side of the grid, and then on the right side, you see 2023. So here's our quarterly visitation impact. This quarter, 15,360, 35% increase over last year. What's underneath is last year's data. We always try to show you a comparison so that you can see, are we growing, are we stalling, are we stagnating? And we are definitely growing. Here's how we spent the funds that you so graciously gave us. We had a budget of $40,000 to be spent, $8,000 in advertising, same amount in Sculpture Garden, Art Festival, exhibitions, and the performing arts. We have actually received through September $24,254. We have spent $22,220, giving us a variance of a little bit over $2,000. I show this because, I know that this is a little sticking point with some organizations, but we do not pay salaries, we do not pay for food, we do not pay for our copy machine or any of our general operating expenses with hot funds. We pay those through funds that we raise. And the only area where we spend HUD funds is general advertising. And you can see that $4,170 was spent through the fiscal year 2023 through the month of September. The rest of it, we pay for our operating funds that we raise. We're very thankful for the support you give us, and we look forward to this continued relationship. Do you have any questions?
You're doing a wonderful job. We're glad you're here, Luis.
Doing a great job.
Here to serve.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye, passes 5-0, no opposition. Before we move on, I'm going to recess for about 5 minutes. Stretch your legs. Thanks. I'll go ahead and put us back in order. And we'll move on to item number 19.
I move to discuss and consider taking action regarding the county's EDA contract number 08-01-05487 related to the Workforce Development Center project located at 2000 Highway 35 North, Rockport, Texas, 78382. To authorize the county judge to send a letter to the Economic Development Administration to request the grant to be transferred to Del Mar College District to execute a memorandum of understanding with DMC, setting forth the terms and conditions of the agreement to transfer the grant, deed the property, and assign ancillary contracts, to assign the Grant Works Grant Administration contract to DMC, to assign the DBR Engineering Consultants, Inc., MEP Engineering and Construction Administration Services contract to DMC, to approve entering into a purchase and sale agreement for the Workforce Development Center property with DMC, and to authorize county judge to execute necessary documents to facilitate the transfer, sale, and assignments, including executing a warranty deed at closing.
Second?
Got a motion, got a second. And Ms. Rutledge, did you want to speak first? Sorry, John.
Thank you, Judge Garza, Commissioners. Christy Rutledge, 1411 Dana Drive. I've been following this project from the beginning, as I followed all of the grants that came out of long-term recovery. And in the beginning, the questions were always, can we get a copy of the grant? Do we know what is going on here in these transactions? What is the cost to the taxpayer? So those were always my basic questions. So apparently we've had a problem with this workforce development grant in the EDA, and Judge Garza, you were elected and you decided that it's not a project the county should be in. I agree with you. I don't agree that it should be passed off to Del Mar and given to them as a free gift, because we lose control of it. And then we, I believe, end up in more tax liability and a potential tax liability. And I believe that needs to be fully disclosed to the residents of Aransas County before you take action on this item today. So I'd like to ask, after presenting to you some information, that some changes be made. Number one, I went back to Del Mar's meetings and I watched their October 3rd, 2023 presentation with Lenora Keys to the Del Mar Board of Regents. She presented an updated budget to the regents regarding the Workforce Training Center that is drastically different than what is currently included in the EDA grant. And currently in the EDA grant, there is a prediction of 800 students per year from Refugio, San Patricio, and Aransas County. It's $1.45 million revenue per year and the same amount of expenses per year. The difference in expenses in the current proposal that was presented October 23 is $988,000 in salaries for professors has been reduced down to $54,000. Only one part-time adjunct instructor is currently scheduled for the Workforce Training Center after the property is deeded over to them. And the student count is reduced down to 200 in the first year. State funding is also reduced to $95,000 a year after the property is deeded over to them, whereas state funding was predicted to be over $2 million in year 5. And that's the budget that's currently included in the EDA grant. So my concerns is what are we getting into? What are we passing off to Del Mar? And at the meeting, it was brought up that the completion of the grant, because there was a regent that was quite concerned before Del Mar went into closed session for an hour to discuss this. Mr. Cruel, and he was concerned about what the outcome was, expected outcome of the grant. And the outcome is to complete construction of the building by 2026. Ms. Keys presented that there was a possibility of an extension, and actually the grant contradicts that. And so that's highly, highly unlikely. It's very, very rare, and it has to be approved by the Assistant Secretary of the EDA. So 2026, the construction has to be complete. She also said that she felt like she could do it at the $750,000 that's available between the county funds and the grant funds, remaining grant funds, but that's $49 per square foot. And so doing a little bit of research, Del Mar has a workforce training center off of Old Brownsville Road. They purchased a big office building, probably similar to this configuration, 48,000 square feet. So it's about 2/3 bigger than both of those buildings. And their cost to reconstruct that up to Del Mar standards was $277 per square foot. So the Aransas County Partnership Economic Development Corporation, the presentation from Lenora Keys is that they're committed to fundraising to make sure this property is completed and the grant can be closed out. So in what I understand, and I don't know until some kind of presentation with solid numbers is brought back to county and that citizens of Rockport know what we're getting into when we pass this off, is that it's about $3 million to finish reconstruction of that building if you go off of what they've already spent at their other workforce center for 16,000 square feet. What's also confusing is that the scope of work in the grant says that Del Mar may already own the other building. So I think we need all the information to come back here in a presentation. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Just give a little background and
Okay, so the Workforce Development Center, when we entered into it, the cost, Del Mar has got a better handle on the numbers and they have a lot more flexibility in being able to raise money versus the way the county raises money. So I'm not concerned about them being able to raise the money to do what they need to do. We had an estimate about $1.5 million to do that. And that was an estimate prepared by a general contractor. Del Mar feels like they can do that for less money. They're more adapted to doing this. They do it all the time. So anyway, I'm not against, I'm not here to be against it or for it, but if they're interested in going forward with it, I guess it's a good idea.
all right. Well, when I took office, it was elephant in the room, so to say,
Yep.
So it's been 10 months of what do we do with this building? We were throwing money at it every month, maintaining it, insuring it. Man, I'm committed to not putting another dollar into it. And by agreeing to this transfer, we're not getting into something, we're actually getting out of something. We're getting out of this building. Once it's transferred, we have no liability whatsoever. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, no liability whatsoever. So I think it's a good deal. Hand it over to them, let them worry about their financials. But once it's in their hands, it's not our problem anymore.
Del Mar is very much aware of the dollars. It's there. There's nothing on the table that they don't know about. They've been involved. They provided the in-kind on architecture. So they know what the building, what the fit up's going to cost there. And I've given them everything that I had in information as far as bids and things like that we had worked out. So they're very much aware of what this is going to cost and how they can do it less than we can.
My thought on this is that we've been in this so long that we need to do something. And I agree with the judge in the fact that we need to get out of this, because even if we decided to do something on our own, we're still looking at 2 to 3 years before that happens. And this, I don't know what the time frame is to transfer all this over and everything, but that does get us out of it. It doesn't necessarily put it back on tax rolls, but it does get us out of
And
the
out
out
of
of the situation. And Ms. Rutledge, excuse me, Ms. Rutledge is considerably on spot on a lot of things,
Mhm.
everything. But you've been dealing with it too.
Exactly.
And though you have never really recommended or not recommended, but it does indicate that that is not a viable issue for us. So we need to get out of that. And so I would agree that we need to move on with this. If the county attorney is happy with it, and if the county auditor is happy with it, the county judge is happy with it, I'm certainly happy with it. The rest of the court, I don't know about, but I know we're all ready to get out of it.
Right.
So I would suggest we go ahead and do it.
I want to speak to the grant briefly. First, there is a possibility that the EDA might give an extension to Del Mar, but again, after this transfer takes place, that's no longer the county's concern. It'll be up to Del Mar to meet all the grant assurances and all the deadlines set forth in the grant documents. And as long as EDA agrees to this transfer, everything should move pretty quickly. If you approve all of these items, this item with everything in it today, the next step is for us to send a letter along with Del Mar to the EDA officially requesting permission to transfer. As soon as that transfer is officially blessed by the EDA, then we'll do the sale of the building and the deeding of the building. There is a requirement that this be used as a workforce development center for 20 years. And that is a requirement that Del Mar will have to satisfy. Again, it won't be the county's responsibility anymore after the transfer takes place. Do any of you have questions about any of the documents or the terms of the deal?
I have just a couple of questions. My concern has been, when we've talked about this in the past, that, oh, well, there were those pledges and donations. And I would just like to either confirm or find out that we cannot confirm that we have no liability, we have no need to return any of those donations or pledges, that we are honoring the fact that people made those pledges for it to be a workforce development center. We are saying Del Mar is going to make it a workforce development center, and the money is being used as it was intended. It's just Del Mar will do it instead of Aransas County. So I know that was long.
In fact, most of those funds have already been used, and they were used in furtherance of this project, which will remain to be a workforce development center.
Okay.
So yes, I think that's correct, that those donations were given in good faith and used in good faith. And that is the scope of the project, and it remains to be the scope moving forward, even after the transfer.
Okay, thank you for that. And then the other, and perhaps it's just the wording that needs to be there, but we're saying facilitate the transfer, sale, and assignment.
Mhm.
Are we selling this building? Is there going to be money that exchanges?
There is no money taking place, but it doesn't require money. Consideration can be a promise. And in exchange for us taking this transfer on, Del Mar is going to be giving us a promise that is going to step into our shoes and take over the requirements under the grant. That alone is consideration, quite a bit of consideration, taking on those responsibilities. So we are going to put the terms and conditions in a purchase and sale agreement like we would any other time. And there may be a nominal amount of money that is put on the table. Just traditionally, we do that in property transfers, maybe $10, but most of the consideration will be in promises.
All right.
I believe even like closing costs, Del Mar is going to use their counsel. And of course, we'll use counsel.
Yeah, I've been working closely with Augie Rivera, who's general counsel for DMC. And most of these documents are already drafted and ready to go. The only two I have yet to draft are the assignments. But the people that we have contracts with are also happy that the plan is for Del Mar to step into our shoes and keep those contracts in place, just in case you had questions about that.
So you're talking about like the grant works and the MEP engineers?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
One thing I well understood initially with our contract with the partnership with Del Mar was the county would be responsible for maintaining the building in the whole long term. And this is relieving us of any responsibility whatsoever for the future. And I think that's the most prudent thing we can do as a county.
Absolutely. Yep.
I do want to also address one other thing Ms. Rutledge said. I don't believe that anybody has purchased the southern half of the Little Bay building. So she did bring up a question of whether Del Mar already owns that. I don't believe that it has been purchased and it's still in the hands of the owner that we purchased the north half from, if that matters to anyone.
I've heard nothing.
Could
And-
Mr. Showstrom speak to that? Do you know of anything?
My understanding is Mr. Jackson still owns that building.
Okay, thank you.
Casey Jackson,
Yep.
clear that up. And I don't think it even matters who owns the second half. We
No.
don't own it.
We
so-
don't care.
It
Yeah.
doesn't.
Doesn't matter who
It's a
owns
fee
it.
simple lot.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter, but I just wanted to point out that that isn't something, the only reason it might matter is on the tax rolls. Currently, that southern half remains on the tax roll.
Mhm.
And for the foreseeable future, until it's sold to another entity or person, then it will remain on the tax roll as far as we know.
And 4, all right.
Okay.
Thank you. No further questions. Let's go and vote.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0, no opposition. Move on to item number 20.
I move to approve entering into a real estate purchase and sale agreement between Rockport Properties Entity LLC, EBC-CC Land Holdings LLC in Aransas County, Texas for the purchase of approximately 972.952 acres of land out of A6 Joseph Reason Survey, J. Smith Survey, and A14 Anselmo Vergara Survey near Cape Valero, and 17 should be 81,
81, right.
not 51. FM in Aransas County for $2,350,000 with the purchase contingent upon the award and receipt of grant funds from the GOMESA program, CMP Cycle 29, for project of special merit, and authorize the county judge to execute necessary documents.
I'll second that.
Got a motion, got a second. Ms. Camo, good morning.
Good morning. Very excited to say that the county's application for the coastal management program and Cycle 29 Project of Special Merit did get selected to move forward for further consideration for funding. Out of about 37 applications, only 8 were selected for further funding considerations. So we're very excited about this. The area that is subject to this grant, hopefully, is historically known as the Bailey Ranch. And it would be about 972 acres that we would be able to have for open space and conservation. So, but I have all the information here. If there are any questions about the grant, about the project, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 21.
I move to approve Resolution R28, a resolution to participate in fiscal year 2024 Airport Improvement Project statewide lighting project grant administered by the Texas Department of Transportation Aviation Division for airfield lighting and electrical repairs at the Aransas County Airport at an estimated cost of $2,570,000 to be paid with grant funds and a local funding match of $257,000 paid with funds received under the American Rescue Plan Act.
I'll second that.
Got a motion, got a second. Good morning, Mr. Gear.
Good morning. So the airport lights were pretty heavily damaged after Hurricane Harvey. So they were prioritized and then have been programmed in the grants with TxDOT Aviation. And this is the time that they've come up for eligibility. So pavement took some priority. Lights now are the next priority on the list, and we qualified for the grant. So the $257,000 match is not due until our fiscal year, where the money was budgeted, which is January 1st. So the project wouldn't kick off until after that anyways.
And we had previously approved this match, but that was on a slightly reduced total estimate, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
We'd previously approved this for $240,000. That would be our match. And this is just to show that it came in a little higher.
It came
So
in a little
instead of
higher.
the 240, now it'll be 257.
Yes, ma'am. I think all of it's still available for ARPA.
Yes, that is in the ARPA funds.
Okay.
All right.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 22.
I move to approve entering into a one-year ground lease with up to 4 consecutive one-year renewal options with Island Operations Company Incorporated for 7,200 square feet of land at the Aransas County Airport at the annual rate of $7,200 for the first year, with an annual increase if the lease is renewed, and authorize the county judge to execute necessary
Second that.
documents. What is the annual? Is there an annual increase rate with annual increase?
It's about 3% if I did the math correctly.
Yes, that's about right.
I thought it was about 2.5%.
I think it starts out about half and ends about over 3% by the time you get to the final.
Okay, I was just taking it on a year by year increase, not from the initial
Oh, I see.
fee.
Uh-huh.
So each year it's
Well,
about
it ends up,
2.5%.
it ends up a lot more than 3% from. Oh, yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Did we get a second?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Commissioner.
Sorry.
And so on this one, paragraphs 6B and 8A, the word hangar was used. And we need to, I'm asking for this to be approved with me changing those to area.
Area, yeah.
So
I would
just a
have moved
substitute.
I would amend my motion to include
Thank you.
Thank
changes
you.
to the contract.
Thank you.
And this is a person who's currently out there. And like you said, we're just going from a monthly lease to a.
Right.
annual.
And it's a company. They support the offshore workers that are flown off by helicopter.
Nice.
Flown offshore.
All right, let's go vote.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0.
I move,
Oh, sorry, item 23.
I move to approve entering into a one-year lease with up to 4 consecutive one-year renewal options with Rotocraft Leasing Corporation, Inc. for space in Hangar Large Bravo, a community hangar at the Aransas County Airport at an annual rate of $6,600 for the first year, with annual increases if the lease is renewed, and an authorized county judge to execute necessary documents.
Second.
Motion got a second.
Okay, and this is, again, it's housekeeping. We've had this tenant for a while. They've been on a month to month. And now that we've kind of decided that they're in the space that they need to be in, I don't have any other available space for them, nor do I foresee having any other available space. It's time to go ahead and call this a permanent location for them with the terms of the lease. And this is the helicopter that the operation that flies the folks offshore. So this is our biggest fuel burner on the airport. They average about $10,000 a month in jet fuel gross sales to the airport.
I have a question
Yes,
though.
ma'am.
We are accepting these rental rates with increases each year, which is fine. But then it says Commissioner Court sets rental rates and that we could then, subject to our decision, change these. That seems rather contradictory that we're stating what the rental rates will be and then we're saying we can change these rental rates.
Because we don't bind future commissioners' courts to what we're going to do in future years, we always put a disclaimer in the lease that points out that if the commissioners' court later decides that we are way behind, which we're not, way behind the geographic area in our lease rates, then you would have the opportunity to increase it more. We haven't had to do that. We don't plan to do that. And building in an increase is what makes sense when we have automatic renewals put in place. But it's just a way to let them know that ultimately the court sets those rates and the court has the prerogative to change those rates sometimes.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 24.
I move to approve change order number 5 to the construction contract between Aransas County and KC Lease Services Incorporated, DBA Matagorda Construction and Materials for the Copenhagen Heights Training Project included in the county's General Land Office Community Development Block Grant Disaster Relief Contract number 20-065-098-C270 in the amount of $82,500 for safety and improvements and installing water erosion control grass to improve the project.
I'll second that.
Motion, get a second. Good morning, Mr. Reed.
Good morning. This is using some extra money that we have. These items are a good thing for the project. And the grant's gonna pay for it.
And it looks like they're down to just, I think they had that stuff formed up when it rained and
Yes,
got water in the ditches to stop. But it looks like that's about all they have left.
it is. It's real close to be 100%. Yeah.
It all
I'm
drains
curious-
good in the rain.
Since this is change order number 5, and I'm glad we still have money in that grant, how much has this project increased since it was first approved?
Well, they won't allow us to increase more than 25%. So we're under that. We're trying to get up to 25% because we have that much money available.
Thank you.
We're trying to use the allotted money is what we're trying to do.
Exactly.
Right, you can't move it to another project, but you can increase the existing
Project
ones
you're
up to
working
25%.
So there was a budgeted amount for this project. It's come in under, and then what we're doing is just adding improvements that weren't in maybe the initial scope to use it.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
that sounds good.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dubnik,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 25.
I move to approve an interlocal cooperation agreement between Aransas County and Clayburgh County for jail services to alleviate jail overcrowding at the Clayburgh County Detention Center on an as-needed basis.
I second it.
Okay.
Got a motion, got a second? Sheriff.
My understanding, this is nothing more than the paperwork cleaning up a request that we brought before the court a couple of months ago to enter. Sent them the same MOU that we have with the other counties, Gonzales County and with the feds. Same rate. This is just the paperwork. I think their court has signed off on it. Now we need y'all's signatures is what is my understanding is taking place.
All right.
Wait a minute.
Do you have any questions to the sheriff? Oh, Sheriff.
Sure, sorry. And thank you for wearing pink for breast cancer awareness. Appreciate that as a
helps.
survivor myself. On page 2, when it talks about the fees will increase 3% a year, and then under, for a small 2, and then under 4B, small 1, it says the fees described will go up automatically 3%. Is this what we do in our other contracts?
Yes, ma'am. It's a duplication of what we
Okay.
have. Now, the Fed contract does require that we renegotiate that every
Right.
5 years. It's not built in there, but it is in the agreement with the other entities that we're housing prisoners for outside the feds. But it's the same rate that we charge the feds.
Okay, thank you. And who is Rudy Madrid? Because it didn't give that person's designation for Clayburgh County.
It's our county judge.
He's a county
Oh, he's
judge.
the
yes.
judge? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dubnik,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 26.
I move to approve change order for $10,300 from Gray and Pape for additional archaeological survey work required by the Texas Historical Commission at Aransas Beach Road Hazard Mitigation Grant Program.
Lamar Beach Road.
Lamar Beach Road Hazard Mitigation Program Grant, site 4332-015.
I'll
Second.
second that.
Got a motion, got a second. Warner.
Morning again. we contracted with Gray and Pape to provide us with a archaeological survey of the Lamar Beach Road area. There was an historic designation that was created in 1927 out in the water. This is for the hazardous mitigation shoreline project. And so there was an archaeological designation. And so we were required by the Texas Historic Commission and FEMA to provide an archaeological survey. And what happened is now that we entered into an agreement, Texas Historic Commission, because we found nothing in the work area, they decided that we needed to do additional survey work, which basically was the team had to go out in the water and with shovels, poking around, looking for additional artifacts, if any, and nothing came up. So the cost of that was $10,300. This is funded by the Go Mesa funds for now, but we've also gone back to TDM and FEMA, and we're asking them that we're going to apply these additional costs, that something we weren't prepared for, against the match that we have. So we're going to reduce the match requirements because we've already spent the money. And there's also some money that we spent to Tetra Tech for BCA work on this project.
So I remember that we approved a few months
32,000.
ago.
Yep.
That we needed to have this work done. So this is the bill for that work that was done.
This is the bill with the additional $10,000.
They had to go back in there and do additional survey work with
Right.
shovels.
And now we've established, hopefully, that there is nothing there.
There was nothing found.
Right.
Not that they're going to say that there is nothing there, but there was nothing found in that site.
So it's likely that this project will now be able to proceed.
It was the major hurdle left to get it to proceed forward after
Thank
5 years.
Yeah, yes. Let's get these projects.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 27.
I move to approve the September 2023 Indigent Healthcare Report.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second?
Good morning.
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 The total expenditures for the month of September was $27,166. And since this is the first month in its fiscal year, that's the year-to-date total also. Any questions?
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 28.
I move to approve the revised job description for the chief deputy treasurer position, change the position from a group 17 to a group 19 to effectively place the position closer to where it should be. There are no new monies added to the current budget for this change.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second? Madam Treasurer?
So the group and step system that we use for job descriptions or the group should significantly reflect the skills and responsibilities of that position. And so for a chief deputy, I compared other chief deputies in other departments were ranging from a 19 in the district clerk, there's a 17 in my office, a 16 in the tax assessor. So they're kind of all over the place. But this particular position will sign on the bank account and have investment responsibilities. So I do believe it needs to be in a group closer to say what the first assistant auditor is. I'm not going to go as high as a 21, but I would like to put it in a 19.
I was curious, what is the group number for the chief deputy county clerk?
It's a 15.
15. And it's been a while, but I'm thinking if we go from a group 17 to a group 19, isn't that about a 10% increase?
It is a 10%, but if they take the steps down, then it would be no new expense.
And I do not intend to do beyond what's in my budget.
But we do need to keep in mind that when we went through budget workshops, we did take all higher budgeted positions down to step 1 per your instruction.
All that weren't filled.
So that would then at that point be an increase.
If I hired beyond a 1. But I'm in a predicament right now where the personnel policy says that I can hire up to a 3 without coming to commissioner's court. I could not have my chief deputy making less than the other employees in my office because they are significantly more responsibilities on that position. But I could stay within my budget.
Oh, I could see amending this and changing it from a group 17 to a group 18, which seems like it'll bring it up. You'll be higher than the chief deputy tax assessor and higher than the chief deputy county clerk. And you'll be equal to at least one of the chief deputy district clerks. I don't know if anyone wants to second that amendment.
You said you're staying within your budget regardless.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And the position that the kind of work that I do is not, I mean, you have chief deputies in the clerk's offices, but the responsibilities, the financial responsibilities that my office has is more comparable to what the auditors do, which that first assistant is not called a chief deputy, but it's a first assistant is a 21. But my position is more comparable to the auditors than it is to the clerks that deal with the court system.
So you have amendment, it didn't get a second.
I don't accept the amendment, and I believe the rules are that if I don't accept the amendment, we have to vote on my motion, and then you would have to make a new motion. Is that correct, Jen?
So there's no new money to the budget.
No new
Okay.
money. In fact, when I hire, I probably will be under what is currently being paid out right now.
And just to let the court know if I can, I am going to get a salary study. We're trying to get a company, trying to get some quotes. Our first shot was a strike. So the company that we've used in the past, the county, which was 30 years ago, of the documents we found. If there's one sooner, I didn't see any, but they no longer do salary studies. But we're going to get a salary study done and see where we're at. But as long as there's no new money, I'm okay. It's your office.
Call for the question.
Any other? All right.
Just to clarify, we're called to question of the original motion.
Correct.
Yes.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye. 5-0. Item number 29.
I moved to approve paying for immunizations at the annual Aransas County Employee Health Fair for employees not covered by health insurance at the budgeted cost of $1,500, utilizing from the funds from the healthcare sales tax.
I'll second that.
Got a motion, got a second. Morning.
Good morning. So the county typically does pay this every year, estimated at 1,500. And it's already budgeted in the healthcare sales tax.
That seems like, do we have a lot of people that aren't covered by the county healthcare?
Not a whole lot, but I mean, it just depends on, yeah, part-timers, or if they have coverage with somebody else or they can't afford covering their family with us.
When's the health fair?
Next Friday, the 20th.
Next Friday. It's gonna be a good one. So I'll be sure to come. All right.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Castellane, Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 30.
I move to approve the September 2023 Auditor's Monthly Report.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second.
Y'all have this report. I did revise the budget on the page. So better reflect what.
I don't want to do that. So it would better reflect what we actually have in the budget. Prior to this one, all the revenues were in one spot and then all the expenditures were separate. So I have now revised it to where your revenues and your expenditures for each fund show up. And it does better reflect what we're doing budget wise. Everything should be at about 75% now. This is the end of September. There, you'll notice down in the special revenues that there's quite a few of them that look like they're in the negative. That's not necessarily that the checking account is in the negative. This just means that revenues versus expenditures, the revenues aren't as high as the expenditures. And some of them we did budget to actually use some fund balance on them. We have some INS funds that we have one account that's going to be paid off this coming February. So we have budgeted to use the fund balance in that, and we will actually use the rest of it in 24 and close that account. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Castellane.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 31.
Move to approve the budget line item transfers for the 2023 budget.
Second.
We have none at this time.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Castellane.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 32.
Move to approve accounts payable, payroll liabilities.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second.
Yes, these are basically all normal accounts payable, payroll. I did want to point out, we have several that were through the grants through 430. We have the grant connection for $1,627.87. This is for the Bay Shore Driver Store shoreline restoration, as well as Mott McDonald for the same project with 3 invoices that total $9,359.22. Then
So you had checks for the grant connection and Mott McDonald for that Bay Shore stabilization.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
We also have PGAL for this is going to be for FEMA for the courthouse was $11,440.49. And Mott McDonald for the Little Bay feasibility of $1,198. For the GLO street projects, we have several checks that went out. Grant Works had 3 invoices that totaled $159,789.65. Mott McDonald had 3 invoices that totaled $26,841.15. And LCR had 3 invoices that totaled $1,671,445.81. And Grant Works had for the fire department, for the fire radio system, a final invoice of $992.80. Mind you, those are all at 100% reimbursement through the GLO grant. Then we have ARPA funds. We paid Texas Association of Counties for the website, $2,700. And T. Baker Smith is the engineer for the water tank at the detention center for $4,562.50. If you have any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes. 5-0. All right, at this time, we'll hear reports from commissioners, elected officials, and department heads. Mr. Gear.
Good morning still. Okay, so this weekend, starting Friday night at 5 PM and it ran all the way through about 5 PM on Sunday, the Aransas County Office of Emergency Management helped sponsor a CERT class to be taught. And CERT stands for Community Emergency Response Team. And this was a basic training class. And this was put on by Texas Parks and Wildlife, did the instruction. A gentleman named Richard Hildreth drove down and from Austin and spent his weekend with us for this training. But the training is designed to help take volunteers from zero knowledge or basic rudimentary knowledge to being a stopgap for an emergency situation or a disaster, and they can perform basic life-saving functions until a more qualified first responder can arrive on a scene. And they can also be used in conjunction with a disaster declaration or emergency situation where they can help direct traffic. They can set up tent to help provide refreshments and rehab for the fire department or firefighters or any other first responders. And so we still don't have a team in Aransas County, but we didn't have anybody that had been through the actual CERT training either. So now we have 13 individuals that have gone through the class. So I wanted to recognize a few folks that are here today that went through the class. So we have Judy Sutterfield from IT department. She went through county IT. Lori Caesar with the director of animal care. She also spent the 22 hours in the classroom with us. Mr. Jerry Brown is here as well. He's a member of the Airport Advisory Board. I wanted to thank Sheriff Mills for coming by and saying a word to the members. That did a lot of good. Also, Judge Garza, thank you for stopping by and thanking the members for participating. And then Commissioner Dupnick, thanks for coming out to the airport at the hangar for the final exercise where the members did some light search and rescue. They did some heavy lift with cribbing and levers and things like that. The next step for us then is to create a team. So among the 13 or so individuals that were in the class, some people were identified and rose to the top that I think will be able to help lead us forward with creating a team in Aransas County. But then this is the obviously the first effort. So the next step would be to get someone that can get the credentials to become a trainer in this. And then we can start having these training sessions more often throughout the year and really build this team into something strong. So that'll be the next step, is to create a team, to get a designated trainer, and then I'll report back to y'all and let you know how they're getting along and what their needs or requirements might be. But also we'll let you know where they plug into scenarios and activities that happen around the county. So thank you very much.
How many hours was the training?
22 hours.
22 hours.
Yeah,
And that
so
was
we-
Friday night?
Friday
Saturday,
night,
and Sunday?
after 5 PM, and then all day Saturday, all day Sunday. So a lot of these folks gave up a lot of time. They gave up their Seafair weekend to do it. So I still went to Seafair. I just went late and spent a lot of money. But anyway, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Anybody else?
Judge, I just had, I guess,
Yes, sir.
couple of questions. One thing, was curious to ask Ms. Butler what the effect the rain had on county facilities. Not a lot of damage, okay.
For the record, Miss Butler said she had 2 leaks, not a lot of damage.
And I guess I have a question for David Reed. I've had people from Holiday Beach asking me, do we have a timeline yet for the grant project to start? Clock is ticking. Okay.
It's already been authorized to start, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I saw they did put some construction signs up on the main highway, and that's, That was, I think, maybe almost a month ago, and people are like wanting to know. So that's what I'm trying to find out. Thank you.
I want to thank David and his crew for removing the sign at Bahia Bay. Y'all did a really neat job for a very short period of time. Y'all got a lot of compliments.
Well, the contractor.
Yeah, but we know that, but. And also, did we get the tank, the water tank done? Is it done now? And is the roof done on the jail?
No, sir, the architect is still working on, I guess, the dimensions and what's technological part of it. He did core studies, has taken samples and it's made recommendations for us to put, I guess, in an RFP when we send it out or something.
Okay. All right, so the roof? Were you talking about the roof of the water tank?
Water tank.
What about the roof? Is it done yet?
The roof is
The- yeah,
complete.
the detention center.
The roof is complete, but the positive pressure has not been restored. So we still have that step to take. And we have a contractor working on that, but the roof itself is complete.
Judge, I would like to let commissioners know and let everyone know, we are going to be hosting a TCEQ, not TCEQ, TDM training for the financial part of doing the disasters. It's going to be at the Bay Education Center or the Bay Aquarium Education Center, I'm sorry, on November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We have invited the city, the NAV district, the school district, as well as the town of Fulton to join us. Cheatham will be coming and doing a very extensive training for us. It'll be a 3-day training and we will be certified with it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, at this time, we'll take reports about items of community interest. No action will be taken.
Good morning, Judy Setterfield, and I wanted to give you guys a report from Keep Aransas County Beautiful. On September the 23rd, we did a cleanup. It was a Dos Equis waterway cleanup. We actually won a grant from Dos Equis, so yay.
Yeah.
If you can envision with me, if you turn into the boat ramp at Copano Bay Bridge, so from that point, and then if you go to the other side of the bridge and think about the amount of land, if you turn down to go down to the water, we picked up over 460 pounds of trash in that very small area. Now, we did get a couple tires. So if you take those out, let's, make them 100 pounds. We're talking about 360 pounds of styrofoam cups, ice bags, Cheeto bags, lots of fishing line. But we did have, I wanted to report, we had approximately 30 signed in volunteers. And a majority of those volunteers was from Gulf Coast Growth Ventures. So the Exxon Mobil group. So I was very proud of the 460 pounds of trash. TxDOT picked that up for us. So there was no fee for getting that taken away. We also have a cleanup coming up October the 21st, and we have partnered with CCA. So we're doing a waterway and a roadside cleanup around Cove Harbor area. So we expect a huge turnout. CCA is really promoting this. So I hope to come back and give you all good numbers on that cleanup also.
Thank you, Judy.
Good job.
Thank you.
You have a very active group.
All right. Let's go on to number 33. We're going to go into closed session.
I move we adjourn the open meeting and go into closed session.
Second.
We're going into closed session to consult with counsel and receive legal advice about insurance matters related to Aransas County's projects and insurance claims from Hurricane Harvey, including Aransas County versus Endurance et al., North Star Recovery Services versus ACISD in Aransas County, Aransas County versus Kathleen Hicks in her official capacity, all of those pursuant to section 551.071 of the Texas Open Meetings Act.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo, Commissioner Dubnik,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye. All right.
This should only take a few minutes. If anybody wants to see the end of the meeting, you can hang out in the hallway and we'll let you know when we're finished.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Was Mike Probst going to stick around or no? Okay. Okay,
You probably got hungry.
then this is probably it.
All right.
And
Good.
move to convene into open session.
Second.
Closed session.
Got a motion, got a second. Let's go and vote.
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye. Item number 36.
All right, I move that we approve a supplement to the engagement letter with Lloyd Gosselink to authorize that firm to contract with engineered construction specialists to perform services related to pending litigation, including reviewing work performed and evaluating uncompleted work.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second? All right, let's go and vote.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, thank you. Now do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move to adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you so much.